A series of interesting images were released on Facebook recently, which purportedly featured the skull of a Sasquatch or Bigfoot. The pictures, released by a man called Coyote Peterson, were posted to a number of Bigfoot-related groups on the social media network and caused a stir in some quarters of the news media. In his post, Peterson wrote, "Breaking news, leaking pics here before they are taken down and before government/official try to cease our footage. Found a large primate skull in British Columbia, filmed it, cut the footage, released on @BraveWilderness this weekend. Have kept this secret for several weeks. Yes, I have the skull. It's currently in a secure location awaiting primatologist review. Absolutely unreal. We thought it was a bear skull when we found it. I can 100% guarantee it's not." The skull was found partially buried underground in deep back forest ravine after a massive storm in the Pac Northwest, where a bunch of trees and earth were disturbed. I'm sure these pics will be taken down, as will probably the video by government or state park officials, but the skull is safe. I don't know if it is what you all think it might be, but I cannot explain finding a primate skull in the Pac Northwest without wondering, what do you believe? Experts immediately poured scorn on the alleged discovery, but where do the images rank in the history of supposed evidence of Bigfoot? There are several such examples of evidence from different continents where the mythical beasts have different local names. One image was found on one of the cameras belonging to the notorious Dyatlov Party, which perished in mysterious circumstances in 1959. The image in question was presumably snapped by one of the victims, Nikolai Thibault-Brignoles, and was discovered on his camera after his death in February 1959. Some say the humanoid figure pictured is a Yeti or Menk, as such cryptozoological creatures are known in the local Mansi language. This has spawned the theory that the group were being stalked and were ultimately killed by the beast. When I was a journalist on a local newspaper in Hertfordshire, UK, I wrote about Yetis as a museum, the Natural History Museum in Tring, which is linked to its more famous namesake in London, was linked with a TV programme looking into the creatures. In the article, which appeared in the Welwyn Hatfield Times newspaper in October 2013, I wrote about a Channel 4 show called The Bigfoot Files, which featured new findings on the mystery animals and, in particular, the announcement of DNA results, which appeared to show the mythical Abominable Snowman could be an ancient type of polar bear or polar bear-brown bear hybrid. This was as a result of testing hairs from two unidentified animals in the Himalayas, in particular from Ladakh, northern India, and Bhutan. Professor Brian Sykes of Wolfson College, University of Oxford, was filmed standing next to stuffed bears in the museum's historic collection when he revealed the results. He said, "It wasn't a sloth bear, it wasn't a black bear, and it wasn't a brown bear. The DNA results is a perfect match with a polar bear. It isn't a modern polar bear, it matches an ancient polar bear's DNA taken from a jawbone of a polar bear that died at least 40,000 years ago." The professor announced that the genetic test matched a polar bear bone unearthed in Svalbard, Norway in 2004. The legend of the Abominable Snowman, or Yeti, called the Migu in Bhutan and the Tengmo in Ladakh, became a sensation in 1951 when British mountaineer Eric Shipton took photographs of footprints in the snow at what is now the Mount Everest base camp, at about 20,000 feet above sea level. In the previously mentioned TV programme, the show's presenter, Mark Evans, visited the site where the footprints were said to have been found, and Professor Sykes said his findings may have provided a biological basis for the Yeti legend in the Himalayas. Another mountaineering legend, Francis Frank Sidney Smythe, took photographs of alleged Yeti footprints in the Himalayas in 1937. These were later shown to indisputably belong to a bear. A cast of an alleged Yeti footprint was thought to have been made by John R. Napier, 1917 to 1987, a highly respected primatologist from University College London, who toured the Himalayas investigating claims of the animal's existence. A display at the university in early 2020 said that, unlike many other scientists who automatically dismissed the possibility of the Yeti, Napier conducted systematic investigations before concluding that it was unlikely that the Yeti is real. Other evidence of similar creatures has been produced in North America, perhaps most notably in a video of an unidentified bipedal ape-like animal loping through a woodland clearing. This footage, known as the Patterson-Gimlin film, was shot in Bluff Creek, Northern California in 1967. The animal was named Bigfoot, but has also been called Sasquatch and has long been a feature of Native American folklore. Roger Patterson maintained the veracity of the shaky footage until his death in 1972, and Robert Gimlin continues to deny that the film is a hoax. Over the years, a raft of photographs of varying quality have found their way into tabloid newspapers and cryptozoological magazines and websites. These examples have emerged from across the world in all the usual locations, and there was even an alleged sighting in Spain in the snow-capped Pyrenees mountain range. So there is some evidence to support the existence of these kinds of creatures, albeit unverified and inconclusive. Returning to the Dyatlov Pass incident in 2019, the website of the UK's Daily Mail newspaper carried a story which reported a Russian source claiming a prominent doctor believed a Yeti could have killed the Dyatlov party. The article cited another newspaper, Komsomolskaya Pravda, which reported a renowned doctor who was not named but claimed that the broken ribs of two of the victims were the result of the squeezing of their chests by some big creature. The newspaper reported that, afraid of being mocked, the famous doctor asked not to disclose his name. A brown bear was said to have been ruled out as a suspect, as they would have been hibernating at the time. There was other evidence too, with a log entry written by a member of the group reading, "Lately there has been a lively discussion about the existence of Yeti in scientific circles. According to the latest data, Yeti live in the North Urals near Otorten Mountain." The Mail article also said that in 2016 there was a reported sighting of a Bigfoot-like creature crossing the road close to the 5,213-foot-high Mount Bolshoi Iremel in the Bashkortostan region. And in the same year, the head of the village council of Kulyaba in Siberia was said to have been greatly scared by a close encounter with an alleged Yeti, with apparent footprints said to have been found not long afterwards. In a bid to find out more, I interviewed Moscow-based Dr. Igor Burtsev, an expert on Russian Yeti sightings and director of the International Center of Hominology. Dr. Burtsev was keen not to be drawn on the fate of the Dyatlov hikers, but when asked as to the veracity of claims for the existence of large hominids, he insisted the Yeti-like creatures were real. He said, "I don't believe, but I know that they, Yetis, exist. I am basing my conclusion on a huge amount of evidence." But a 2014 study called Genetic Analysis of Hair Samples Attributed to Yeti, Bigfoot and Other Anomalous Primates found no evidence of their existence. Part of the paper's conclusion read, "While it is important to bear in mind that absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, and this survey cannot refute the existence of anomalous primates, neither has it found any evidence in support." Rather than persisting in the view that they have been rejected by science, advocates in the cryptozoology community have more work to do in order to produce convincing evidence for anomalous primates, and now have the means to do so. The techniques described here put an end to decades of ambiguity about species identification of anomalous primate samples and set a rigorous standard against which to judge any future claims. There have also been proven hoaxes in the search for so-called missing link creatures between humans and great apes. One of the most notable of these is the infamous case of Piltdown Man in 1912. The fearsome-looking find was later exposed as being a composite creation assembled from a medieval human skull, the 500-year-old lower jawbone of an orangutan, and fossilized chimpanzee teeth. So if history tells us anything, it might well be too early to call off the search for evidence of Bigfoot just yet. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly subscribe. Thank you for watching.